What's going on? What's going on? Happy Monday. Happy Monday.
Monday.
Yes, again. Oh, and Shavannah, we sent all the positive energy your way. We missed you last week, girl.
I know, and I'm sad because that was my first guest of like this whole space, and I'm sad because I was out here bad, y'all. I was out here really bad. This season of illness, it's like we had enough of COVID. It's not even COVID that's attacking; it's everything else under the sun. So, flu season is crazy, and RSV is crazy, and I got them girls, so I'm sure it just came home with them. So it took us down, but I'm glad to be back in the space, back on this Monday, and back with the tea of our good local governments.
I know.
Shout out to you, Kelly. Shout out to you, girl.
That sigh.
Man, it's amazing. We got a lot to talk about today, huh?
Yeah, and like again, I didn't have you with me last week to
Shout out to Alderwoman.
Shout out to Alderwoman Clark Hubbard. Yeah, shout out to her.
She is so like really accessible, and that's what I love about her. Like she takes her work seriously though. So I can appreciate that, and she is really doing the work. So shout out to her. Shout out to the 20. Oh, I think it's the 21st ward, right? But shout out to y'all city folks. We got to talk about that, ain't we?
Well,
y'all changing. Y'all changed.
But real quick, I do want to say that with Alderwoman Clark Hubbard, she ain't even my Alderwoman. But I can call her if I have a question. I can call her, text her, whatever, and she's gonna get back to me. And I don't even get that same response from my alderman. Okay,
that's what I'm talking about. Shout out to her, man. Yeah, that's what's up.
So we're gonna get into this. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
So, last week was about the city. Shout out to my fellow St. Louis City fam. So last week it was all about the city.
It was. Shout out to y'all bill and stuff that she's trying to propose. But yeah.
So we're gonna start with the county. We're gonna start with your people. So for folks that are not aware, St. Louis County is kind of hurting a little bit in their pocket.
We broke.
You know what I'm saying? Pockets a little light, you know what I'm saying?
We struggling. We struggling over here.
It's bad. It's bad, y'all. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be joking. We shouldn't be laughing.
We should not, because this is real serious right now. Like we are really in a deficit. And it's not looking good for us over here in the St. Louis County space. Yeah.
So I'm gonna play a clip. So during last week's St. Louis County Council meeting, chairwoman Retta Days pretty much laid it out because they're gonna have to cut stuff. So I want to play this clip as she lays out what is going on and specifically what cuts will be made from the budget in the upcoming year.
And I wanted to make a statement before everyone so that you'll understand what we're trying to do here, recognizing the challenges that we have in our current economic status. But we understand that these are problems that have existed in terms of our budget. They have been longstanding, and this is nothing new for us, but it is something that we must wrestle with, and we must get control of this budget. And we do that as a council with grave concern for our employees and for our taxpayers alike. So let me start with saying that pay raises will not be affected by this. They will not be cut. We wish to ensure that this is in place for our current employees who have continued with us through our tough times. The council will be adding a COLA, if it is approved, a COLA of about $1.4 million for our retirees. There are a few line items that we are considering cutting as well. We will, in the general fund, we will start with the prosecuting attorney's office, and we will be cutting $175,000 for 3 vehicle purchases. We will be cutting $330,000 from the county counselors for the Chapter 110. That will be a cut of $30,000 there, and we will also be cutting $385,000 from the Transportation and Public Works for vehicle charging infrastructure. And lastly, we will be cutting $800,000 from the Transportation and Public Works for the neighborhood services. They do demolishing and things like that with our services, but we are advocating 11 million, or we have allocated 11 million for that particular service. And so we will be working with them to ensure that this is where these funds will be going. The council is eliminating 75% of the vacant positions across all departments within the general fund and the health fund, including the county council's budget. Many of these positions in various departments have gone unfilled for several years. These cuts amount to about $22 million in savings to the general fund and about $5.3 million in the health fund. These actions do not resolve the structural deficits within these two accounts, but they are because there are still significant issues that remain. But these will only cut about half of the structural deficits that are existing. So we would intend to consider supplemental appropriations as the need arises. And of course, priority will be given to public safety and our public health departments. We also want to meet with the county executive on a monthly basis so that we will be able to address some of the issues with the budget in terms of revenues, expenses, and operations, beginning with the 2020. And we hope that he will meet with us, with the council, so that we can have open and honest conversations and put the county back into some kind of financial stability going forward.
Ooh.
So do you want to delve into it, or do you want to play the next clip? What do you want to do? Because that was a lot. I know that was a lot.
It was. Because I was just thinking, I was writing down some stuff like the general fund, the health fund. What does these things mean? What does this entails? Like, what is this? Because she was like 22 million from that, 5.3 million from the health fund. So like, they throw out this stuff so fast, which is like a curveball, because again, we talk about how average people really don't know these things. So you run it through this like it's nothing, but it could be something really major. So for me, it's really scary to hear all of these cuts and don't know exactly what these spaces do, and that takes, of course, takes time to go and find and research. But again, I guess I should be calling our girl up like, what up, Rita? Jay, how you doing? What's this mean? What is this? What's going on? Maybe I need to go have a conversation, because I would love to know, like, what is this? How does this affect? What are these things? What are they? I know the prosecuting attorney office, shout out to Wesley Bell. Sorry, Wesley Bell. But like, yeah, it's just a lot. And I mean, she ran through it so fast. So it was a lot. It is a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah. I will say that this is a conversation for someone that's been listening to these meetings for 2 years. This has been a conversation that they've had for the past 2 years, that within the next, I think they say maybe is 26, maybe 25, 2025, 2026, maybe, where everything is just going to go down. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they've been having these conversations for some time now. So this ain't nothing. And I do agree with you though. Like, I'm not a budget connoisseur. I'm not like an expert when it comes to that, because it's so many different areas when we're talking about the budgets.
Yeah, so many,
but to your point, these cuts may have some impacts on
major impact
that residents receive. So I don't know. So there is another clip. that I wanted to show folks as well, that it's a continued conversation about the budget. So council members Webb, Trachis, and Clancy, they provided their 2 cents about the sentiments expressed by Chairwoman Days.
I just want to briefly go back to our budgeting items and just mention that we will be having opportunities for, as we try to be as fiscal responsible as possible, and we have suggested those cuts. We are, for those impacted departments, asking them to do an assessment to tell us how this will impact their departments. I wanted to explicitly state that because I know that this is all coming really, really fast, and I want them to know that we need that feedback in a timely manner. And I think, Madam Chair, did you say by close of business this week or
on Friday? Yes, correct.
By close of business this week on Friday, in order for us to move forward next week. And all of those items will be addressed accordingly. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Any other business to come before the council at this time? Councilman Trachis.
As we're talking about the budget, Madam Chair, I want to say I appreciate your efforts to find cuts within the budget, but with sincere respect, it's not enough. We're going to leave the county with probably $20 or more million deficit by the end of this coming year. We've already got $30 million deficit behind us. So the cuts are not sufficient, and it's the responsibility of this council to make sure that whatever's finally passed leaves the county with a zero budget deficit at the end of 2024. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Any further business to come before the council? Councilwoman Clancy.
Yes, on that note, I think that this is a decent starting point for a conversation. I'm encouraged by what I hear, Madam Chair, about your willingness to have a conversation about how this will impact our departments. I do want to note that I know that we have a lot of vacant positions that I keep calling chronically vacant, positions that have been vacant for a few years. However, I am sensitive to some of the new positions that have been requested in our budget. These are positions that have been requested because of emerging need, such as the 16 correctional officer positions. These are not positions in this case that have been vacant for years and are responsive to some very real safety issues we have in our Justice Center that I know from participating in this council for a long time that we are all concerned about the conditions there. So we need to be sensitive to maybe some unintended consequences with this too. And you know, I think contrary to what Councilman Trachis said, I've got some concerns that some of these cuts actually might be too much in some areas. So we'll leave that to the departments to let us know. But we also are very aware of some of the needs that we have and the expectations we have as a council have for the level of services that are being provided. So looking forward to the discussion and the dialogue over the coming weeks. Thank you.
Yeah.
And this is highly time sensitive, y'all. So for people that aren't aware, the county council, they have to approve the budget for the next year. So for the budget of 2023, they have to approve that mug by the end of this month.
And y'all know the holidays around the corner. You know they ain't gonna want to be doing this around Christmas and stuff. So I would say probably in the next couple of weeks, we'll be seeing or hearing what they're going to do. And it's unfortunate because it's rushed.
Yeah. And I hope that there is some dialogue that can be had with those department heads as far as some of those cuts, what that's given. And honestly, like what Trachis mentioned, like that's not even going to cover. And even Chairwoman Days mentioned that these cuts it's going to cover maybe half of this projected of the deficit. So it's just more conversations, tough decisions. I mean, decisions that are going to be had. And I'm happy I'm not a county council member right now. Just saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's a tough position to be in, but I mean you just said that they've been talking about this for 2 years, so it's not like you just knew and found about it though. So
yeah, I concur.
yeah, I am too, because I want to throw out how many ways and how much money we done ran through. But I'm gonna shut up. Y'all, this is why we need to be involved and why we need to really know what's going on. I really hope they figure something out that's beneficial.
Same.
I don't know if cutting just to cut is the answer. But I'm with him though. I wouldn't want to go into another year in a negative. I agree. I wouldn't want to, but I just wish for me as an individual in my mind, if I'm not producing enough income, I think of how I can make more income versus me saying, oh, well, I'm gonna just cut
Just
my
cutting everything.
yeah, like I'm gonna cut my rent out today. You can't cut if I cut out my rent, I'm gonna be homeless. So it's just like, what other ways can I formulate income? So things like that. I would hope something comes up. I don't know, because I just feel like there's so much money out there that I'm shocked they're in a deficit. I don't know, but
I mean, I hope that, again, having this dialogue, meeting with County Executive Sam Page, talking to him, hollering at the department heads, all of this, to your point, hopefully it brings about some type of a happy medium, because all the cutting, something's going to be impacted with all these cuts. So I don't know. We shall see. To be continued.
I can't wait to see what happens with the budget. So,
oh Lord, we'll see. So next, speaking of money, opportunity. There was a super brief discussion about the Rams settlement coins. That are available. The city and the county, they've been kind of fighting over who gonna get what. I mean, sorry, they've been discussing how the funding will be appropriated. Excuse me. So I want to play this clip because Councilman Fitch, he had some questions to ask because I guess he is worried that there may be some legal issues stemming from the settlement once it's finalized. So I'm gonna play the clip and I want to kind of set this up. So he's talking to one of St. Louis County's attorneys. So this woman, she works for the county counselor's office. So the woman he's asking the questions is a legal eagle who works for St. Louis County. So I just kind of want to say that because people are like, who is that woman? So I just wanted to say that.
As we all know, there was a recent agreement between the county counselor's office, the city counselor's office, and the RSA over the split of the NFL money. So my question is this, do we know, Ms. Wagner, if you could tell us when the RSA plans to either approve or not approve this? Because what I understand is they have to approve this deal for it to be a done deal. Is that accurate? And do we know when that vote's going to be?
Councilmember Fitch, I don't know the answer to that question.
All right, so you don't know either, because there was two questions there. One, you don't know either of those?
That's correct.
All right, so my next question is, let's walk this through. So there are 3 appointees from the county, 3 from the city, and 5 from the state. As this council knows, there's 2 county members sitting on that RSA board that were never confirmed by this council. As a matter of fact, one of them was specifically declined for approval. And the state statute says very clearly, up to 5 commissioners, one of whom shall be the chairman, and that's the state one. But it says 3 commissioners shall be residents of the county, may be appointed by the chief executive of the county, with the advice and consent of the county council. So my legal question is if you could do some research on this. Let's say the board votes, and the 5 state commissioners say no, we're not going to approve this deal, and the 3 city and 3 county, so 6. Say, yes, we're going to, but 2 of them are disputed candidates, disputed commissioners, because they were never approved by this council. So can you give us a legal opinion as to, and I know you're not going to give it now, what would happen if those are the deciding votes. Either of those two county commissioners that were not approved with the consent, as the state law says, of this council. Can you tell us what the outcome will be if they end up being the tiebreakers or the vote casters that move this to the decision on part of the city and the county if the state disapproves? Does that make sense? What I'm
I
asking?
understand. I understand your question. It's noted, and we can follow up with you.
Because if you remember correctly, I sent a letter to the RSA Board and the chairman and the council, and it basically said, there's two members that have not been approved. And my personal feeling is if they have to vote on this and it's a split vote, there's going to be a problem. There's going to be a legal problem, and I think we see it coming. So I know this issue isn't ripe yet because the RSA Board hasn't voted, but we need to be prepared if there is a split vote on that thing. Because my guess is the city and the county will say, we don't care that those two county people were never confirmed by this council, but I have a feeling the community will care. So if you could get us that information, I appreciate it.
The community is going to care.
So real quick, I wanted to let people know, Councilman Fitch, yes, again, I listen to the meetings. When we're talking about the appointment of these different commissions and things, the RSA, I believe it's called commission, consists of folks that represent the city and the county. I believe the county executive, he appointed a couple folks maybe. And I know one in particular, which is Charlie Dooley, came before the county council because, again, my understanding is the county council have to vote to approve these folks. And so he came before the county council and they wasn't checking for him and denied the brother this appointment. However, he's still on board. So I know that's one of the folks that Councilman Fitch was referring to as far as the county council not approving these folks that are on this board. So I kind of wanted to lift that up. And also his comments were made last Tuesday, and on Wednesday, the board unanimously, meaning everybody, approved the agreement as far as how these RAM settlement coins are going to come out. So for people that are not aware, this is how it's going to be divvied up. So we talking about $519 million. Okay. So this is how it's going to be divvied up. So St. Louis will get $280 million. Well, the city, us folks, we're going to get $280 million, with $30 million of it being dedicated to improving the downtown, our convention center. And if the Board of Aldermen, they don't move on allocating them coins by next year, then that $30 million would go to that board, the RSA Board. St. Louis County, $169 million. And the RSA, again, that board, that committee, that commission, will get $70 million. And those coins will go towards maintaining the dome. So something else to note here, unlike the ARPA coins that had those, restrictions, requirements, these coins don't have any requirements. So
it can go pretty much where it needs to go. St. Louis County. Just saying. Interesting. I hope they let this ride and let this get this money and do what they need to do so we won't be in a deficit. But because I feel like I don't know, it's fair. I don't know. I mean, the stadium is down there in the city. Shout out to St. Louis County for getting something. So I don't know. Shout out to that amount of money that they got, though. Wow. That's a lot of money.
That's some money.
That is some money.
I just really
St. Louis got some. Well, technically we down St. Louis County, so
damn. But this is what I hope. I really hope that these funds are you know what I'm saying? Like there's some
Productively, please. Because I don't know.
We
I don't
spend
know.
the time on how to utilize the money. That's all I'm
Have
gonna
a
say.
plan, please.
That's all
Y'all
I'm
know
say.
it's coming. Let's go have some meetings and let's plan how we can utilize this money to make a benefit and not just run through it and not just give money to, I don't know.
But I do have a question for you, Shavannah, because you're a St. Louis County resident. If you don't feel comfortable answering this question, you absolutely do not. But something that Councilman Fitch, he said that community members would be, they would care, and it would matter to them that some of the folks on the board that voted, for the agreement on how the coins was going to be divvied up, that a couple of them weren't technically approved by the county council. So again, I know you're not representative of all county.
No, St. Louis County. Yes, let's be clear, especially not Fitch's community.
I'm asking because he believes that
because what Fitch is like is Fitch South County or
no, he's like he's not.
I forgot what ward he is or what district, but so.
I know. I'm just.
I feel like at the end of the day, like I said, the numbers seem fair. It doesn't seem like there's a big thing, or differentiating like a way we should fight amongst who's on the board. So I feel like it doesn't really matter right now at this point, as long as we have something tangible coming in. It's not like the city is saying, hey, fuck y'all, we get the money. So, I do feel like at this point, let's get the money, do what we need to do, and move on. What is I feel like it's an ego. Yeah. I feel like it's ego right now. Because you didn't approve of the people that's on the board. Okay, Fitch. Okay, council. All right, y'all. Okay, I'm sorry. Is this deal a great deal? That's what you should be focused on. Is this a great deal? And if this is a great deal, let's move forward and let's get this money and utilize it so we won't be in a deficit in 2024. That's a bigger issue to me than who was on the board. Because I mean, like I said, it seemed like they were fair. So I don't know. I don't think it's a problem. Now, if I Kelly now when I go knocking at these folks' doors asking for some coin, they're gonna be like, "You remember what you said?"
No, but I don't think that's disparaging at all. I think I
just really think that they just need to focus on the issues, the real issues,
the priority, right? The
prioritize and stuff. Because right now, and this is not just St. Louis government. Let me be clear. Facts. This is not just St. Louis County or even St. Louis City, because St. Louis City got some foolishness too. Facts. But I think this is our politic and government overall right now. It's the pettiness in it. It's the fight amongst them. It ain't even about the people or the community no more. It's literally the fight amongst each other. I mean, look at how the Republicans and the Democrats are going and how the Democrats are fighting in their own spaces. So I just think right now, overall, our government needs to take a stop and prioritize. Okay, y'all, or we need to just maybe get some people not as really about this community life and about the people, because right now this pettiness, it's tearing us apart, literally.
It's a bunch of political theater, and we're literally out here dying and dodging bullets. Our babies can't breed, our babies can't write, we can't go to the grocery store in our own.
We ain't got no friends. Girl, I was in there looking at the apples at Dearborn's. First of all, Dearborn's is usually like the end. I was looking at the strawberries and the apples at Dearborn's, like, what is this? So we ain't got no fresh food. We had the conversation about the schools earlier and how their teachers are like, I'm done. The healthcare system.
There are a lot of
much going on.
There are a lot of problems.
My baby was just like, Mommy, why the streets so bumpy? I said, baby, because we need to go to a meeting and tell our people this stuff.
Yeah, and hopefully, again, my county people out there and city people and everyone far and wide, please use this information to reach out and contact your alderperson, county council member, whomever, and have these conversations with them and tell them we tired of the petty Patricks and Patricias. Like, yo, political whatever theater you playing around, you trying to show
Your
off and
ego,
show out
whatever
and
you trying to
show,
do,
like,
like
I mean,
put that
so at the
pride
end
to
of the
the
day,
side.
that is not doing anything but harming us, the people. So message, um,
Clear. Signed, sealed, delivered. It's yours.
look at that, getting singing and everything.
They need that. They need to take that message in. Hold on to it.
Hold on to it in your heart.
Oh, we dying out here in the streets.
In your hearts.
Man.
So okay, that was the county. Now we're gonna move along to the
Shout
city
out to
people.
county. I still love you, county folks.
So for my St. Louis City fam, if you did not know, the wards, as of spring, we will have 14 new wards with 14 new alder people representing those wards. So currently we are in this 28 ward situation through to a ward reduction / redistricting. Well, redistricting happens every 10 years, but the voters voted to reduce the wards from 28 to 14. That whole process ended last year, so it's a wrap. The wards are reduced, y'all. Now we have to vote on who will represent those new 14 wards. And again, these elections, and we got to come out to both elections, y'all. The primary in March and the general in April. Both elections, 2 elections, not just one or the other, but both of them. So we got to come out. And I just kind of wanted to share, because I'm calling it March Madness, baby. And this is why I'm calling it March Madness, because everybody named Mama, if they want to keep their job, they're gonna have to run. So filing for March Madness started. People like, Kelly, what are you talking about? Yeah,
I think that's legit what it feels like. It's they about to be out competitive against each other. Like
they gonna have to battle it out.
Yeah, they gonna have to really do it.
So the filing for people to, to say, hey, I'm running. The process started last week. It ends on January 6th. What a date. Wow. It ends on January 6th. But y'all, over 20 people have already filed to run. Again,
see,
14 slots, over 20 people. We still got a month. You know what I'm saying?
It just opened up and y'all already got 20 people.
So
crazy.
So if I provided the list of, I call them repeat offenders, but it's the alder people, some of the current alder people that have already, like I said, put in their hats and said, yo, I'm running. So as you can see, we have some wards where they gonna have to duke it out. For the new 4th ward, again, not to be confused with the current 4th ward, but the new 4th ward, which is on the south side. We have Alderman Narayan and Vaccaro. They're gonna have to duke it out. And I think there may be someone else that filed there too. I also want to lift up the new 9th ward, which that's my ward. We've got Alderwoman Peel and Alderman Gross. They're gonna have to duke it out. I gotta shout out Alderwoman Clark Hubbard. She's running for the new 10th ward. And then the 13th ward, we got Alderwomen Middlebrook and Walker. Yeah, they're gonna have to duke it out. So again, there's still a month left.
I was like, well, that's still plenty of time. There might be like 5 names in that 13th ward or in your ward, or shout out to Clark Hubbard. You might have some running folks to run against you, but I really think this is gonna be. Shout out to y'all in the city. Like, this is an opportunity to really make some things shake up some stuff in the city, because y'all already know what y'all dealing with some of the past. So this is an opportunity for people to really shake some things up. So
yeah, again, March Madness, we will be covering that on Monday Night Live. Yes. So updates to come. Also, if you don't know what new ward you in my City of St. Louis fam, please look that stuff up. You can go on the City of St. Louis website, do an address search, whatever, look up my elected official. If you have issues with trying to find this information, hit me up on all the socials. I can be sure to send you that link so you can look it up to find out what your new ward is. But if you are a registered voter, all our voting information, it did provide the new ward that we're in. So please make sure you know what ward you are living in.
But shout out to what you just said. Sometimes you don't even get the information unless you're a registered voter. So I'm gonna need folks to go register and vote as well. Okay.
Oh yeah, facts.
Just
Go
wanted
ahead.
to-
Yeah, you can do it real quick. 2 seconds. 2 seconds.
Yeah, just wanted to drop that.
While you on there talking about Deion Sanders and stuff, you can go ahead and it take you 2 seconds to register to vote. Take you less time to get registered to vote than to make a comment on social media.
Because you just, I mean, that's real. Like some of the information you ain't gonna never get because they only go by the registration list. Who's registered to vote? Let's go down that list. So definitely, y'all go register to vote. And for those who are registered, turn up at the polls.
Turn up. So to be continued with March Madness. Speaking of a new St. Louis City, y'all, it's cranes in the sky everywhere. There is so much development.
I was like, y'all got everything coming down in the city.
And again, I really wanted to lift up. There were during last week's full Board of Aldermen meeting, there were 3 bills dealing with some type of new development up for perfection. So again, perfection is right before the bills finally pass. So that's when people come up, there's a discussion, sometimes it get a little passionate. But they can go back and forth, tweaks, whatever, move forward. Because when it hits final passage, honey, ain't no tweaks, ain't no changes. It's a up or down, yes or no. So this is kind of like damn near the last hurrah of the bill, right? So again, 3 bills up for perfection concerning development. 2 of those 3 bills are regarding the Cortex development. So for my people that ain't familiar with the Cortex, not to be confused with the Foundry, but Forest Park is kind of one of the major streets of its boundaries. It has, I don't know if people have participated in Venture Cafe events there. That's where the space is. It's a huge kind of tech hub, startup situation. Microsoft's over there. And it's like a whole little town. There's a Metrolink station over there. There's a hotel over there. There are restaurants. It's a lot of stuff popping over there. And the crazy thing is this development, they ain't even finished with it. Like the first few phases have been executed. But now these 2 bills that were up for perfection are looking to kind of continue some of the work of the Cortex because the Cortex ain't got no housing on there. However, these 2 bills, if passed, and I want to point out again, we're talking about some tax incentives provided. So roughly, we're talking about $4.6 million for a $50 million mixed-use residential project. So now I'm gonna play this clip because Alderwoman Peel, who represents that area, she describes these opportunities as groundbreaking. And so I want the people to know kind of what does she mean when we're talking about this groundbreaking project.
These are groundbreaking benefits. The first one is housing in the Cortex complex. This is the first time this bill will provide housing for St. Louis City residents in Cortex. The second groundbreaking benefit is mixed income housing in the Cortex project complex is going to be provided. For the first time, these board bills were sure that individuals earning less than $50,000 will have access to affordable housing. In the last 10 years, there's not been a single housing unit built on this complex. This bill will bring 165 units of housing. Of the 165 units, some of the housing units will go to people making $50,000 or less, and that's 60% adjusted median income. The third groundbreaking benefit is that affordable housing continues to be a major problem in St. Louis. Many of our working families are being squeezed out of housing and are having difficulties getting affordable housing. Working families in St. Louis need affordable housing. This board bill will provide $250,000 to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund to promote city living, neighborhood stabilization through the preservation and production of affordable, accessible housing and support services that enhance the quality of life to those in need. And fourth, additional benefits to the city. The city will also capture 10% of the redevelopment project area RPA 6 TIF revenues to the newly established Strategic Infrastructure for Economic Growth Fund after the comptroller's administration fees are deducted. This is under Section 403B of the 8th Supplemental Trust Indenture. Money that goes into the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. It speaks to the core interest in our city to provide more affordable housing.
So do you think those are groundbreaking?
Again, I really do like the idea of mixed income homes, because I feel like if you keep trying to put one people or one what is it called, blanking right now because it's almost out 9 o'clock at night. The one income of a people in the same space, how is it going to thrive when they're all struggling, low income and all those things? I feel like, yes, it's not going to help a community thrive because those folks are struggling within themselves. How can they even give to the community? So I think having mixed income spaces, it would be a great benefit. So I think that's a great idea. I think that's groundbreaking because you don't hear that often. I would want to see what these communities look like, and do people stick around, because sometimes you get that, I don't want to live with people who on low income because they don't take care of it, which is trash. That is not true. But you get those type of people sometimes with the mentality of low incomes means people don't want to take care of their neighborhood or their areas or whatever. But I think that's cool to hear. I'm not too familiar with the Cortex. I've only been there once when I went to like a venture cafe thing. So I'm girl, I am so county, it's crazy. But I need to come visit y'all more down there in the city. So I would love to it seems like the great area, because when I did, it's nice. It's the restaurants down there, the open space. So living down there probably would be nice. So I don't know. I really want to keep the eye on this because I want to see how it turns out. What would the properties look like? Because they haven't built it yet, correct? It's not been built. The homes have not been built. So
No.
I want to know, what is it going to be, like a apartment building, like loft? Okay. Yeah.
It'll be
how much is it going to cost? Well, she said they're going to provide
some of them. Yeah, so it'll be market rate. So whatever the people up there can pay. And then she said, folks, there will be opportunities for people that make under 50K to be able to live there too. Because I'm right now, this market rate stuff, this is crazy. These prices are insane. And I live in the area. I live not too far from the Cortex. So all this stuff that's being built up,
expensive.
It ain't for me.
The market right now, period, is expensive.
It is insane.
I got a house across the street from me in Ferguson renting for $1,200, and I'm like, woo, Lord. So y'all, this is really, and we need affordable housing though. We do. We need affordable housing. So it's a lot of homeless people out here. And people need spaces to be in. That's one of the basic
people too, like regular, and the unhoused population. Trust me, that's a serious need. And also, as she said, you have people working regular, working people. They can't
afford to live. I agree. I totally agree. I'm glad I purchased when I purchased, because I'd probably be one of the people that can't afford to live.
Yeah. So but yeah, something else I did want to lift up from that was this Strategic Infrastructure for Economic Growth Fund. Now I don't know what the hell that is.
I was
But
saying,
it sounds good. It sounds good.
Sounds good, but what is it?
We'll see. Alderwoman Peel, who spoke, I think she has some urban planning and other like experiences in the past, and she's really bringing that to her role as alderwoman, and she's very passionate. I mean, she was crying on one of the meetings. She's very passionate about making sure that business as usual isn't what happens.
We need to maybe holler at her. Come on, sis, come be on the show.
But yeah, so it's some different things going on. Shout out to her, some of her efforts.
Shout out to the urban
development corporation
and planning, and I think that's really important. I have not really been able to zone in on that, but I think that is important, especially when you're talking about our communities, because that's the problem. No one is thinking to really invest intentionally in our spaces and do things that's beneficial for our spaces. Usually it's coming to wipe us out. So
right, literally. So
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So all right, so there's one more. We're almost done, y'all. So there's one more bill regarding the redevelopment plan in Carr Square. And Carr Square, again, that's one of the communities that is not too far from where NGA will be. So I kind of wanted to include this clip. Again, this bill was up for perfection as well, but I'm gonna say it kind of took a bit of a turn. So this is Alderman Page, because he represents this area where this project will be. And his project, it's a redevelopment plan. And this proposed redevelopment would demolish some of the, I guess, older buildings and construct new multi-family housing, so apartments, and renovate several existing apartment buildings in that neighborhood. They talk about it's going to be four phases. Again, these phases, 4 phases of this development project, ranging from 1 to 3 bedrooms at the cost of $17.9 million. And I know there is a tax abatement or a form of a tax incentive that is accompanying this development plan. But enough of me talking. Let's listen to Alderman Page. And then, like I said, this kind of took a bit of a turn during the Board of Aldermen meeting.
Board Bill 93 is a redevelopment plan for Cass Avenue, 14th Street, O'Fallon, Hogan Street area. That area surrounds the Preservation Square housing project that is well under construction at this point. And I move that we perfect and pass Board Bill 93.
Further discussion? Any further discussion? Alderwoman from the 26th.
Madam President, members of the board, thank you, Alderman Page. I did reach out to you this morning and ask you if we can move this to the regular perfection counter, just so I can make a few comments. I know that we were all elected down here to serve in our respective places and our respective communities, but we also come down here with our own lenses of lived experience. And when I went back and watched that committee hearing on November 17th, it moved me. Brother Todd Ernst L is family to me. It's personal for me. The way that I feel like some of his comments were dismissed kind of affected me to a point where I asked you and reached out to Neil Richardson and Lance Knuckles as well this morning, talking to them about in its current form, we can have some more discussion with the community. So again, I am not, I don't have any specific questions for you, Alderman Page, but I'm asking you as your colleague that if you could continue this conversation with the community that I know has reached out to you in several many ways. And again, knowing that after watching that committee hearing, I understand it passed unanimously out of committee and everything, but we as colleagues, I think can work respectively together and make these kind of requests and moving forward so that we can work on the best behalf of our entire communities. Thank you, Alderman Page.
I will tell you that I was busy with other things and I did not see the messaging that may have come this morning. But I will say that I have been in discussions with the community, the Carr Square Village community. I understand the concerns. I have had conversations with Brother Todd Irons L. and others, Mr. Russell Houston, others in the community. And I'll tell you, I am all about community engagement. I am willing to have additional discussion about Board Bill 93 if my constituents in the community would request that. So, Madam President, I will say that I yield to the request for additional community input, community discussions, and let's move forward in the proper way to make that happen.
And yeah, so he moved to so that bill, the
I think it was nice.
They didn't perfect it. He put it on the informal calendar. So
I think that was really I respect how she, approached him. And I respect that he received it.
mm-hmm.
So shout out to both of them for that.
Yeah.
Because I think it is important to make sure that you're really, truly, authentically engaging community and people who will be in that space when that development happens, to make sure that this is something that they are on board with or just understand. Sometimes it's not even about me saying, no, I don't want it. Sometimes I just want to understand what is it bringing into the space? What does this mean? What is it going to be? What is it going to do?
Right.
So making sure that you really are educating the community about it. So
right, and making them feel like they're included and they are part of it, because there is a real fear, and history has proven this time and time again. When we're talking about redevelopment, the G word, all of those things, that means like our Black ass is going to be pushed out. So
yeah, we literally get kicked to the curb.
Yeah, so I think really being intentional about including community in these decisions, in these conversations, to have like real input.
When you talk about development, it's scary. Because I mean, living in Ferguson, when they brought that Starbucks, I was like, "Oh Lord, what they about to do?"
That's what they say when
it's not with a Starbucks. You hear me? I was like,
there go the neighborhood.
But shout out to that Starbucks. It's a lot of dope Black people that works in there. The manager is great. So I appreciate it. And thank you, because I love Starbucks. Anyway, we needed a Starbucks in a sense. We deserve a Starbucks, right? But still, when you talk about and when you hear the word development, like you said, history it's scary. It's traumatizing sometimes. So I've had so many fears of development over here in Ferguson and, what's going to happen in the future as a homeowner. So I definitely appreciate it, again, her addressing that and he taking it in respectfully. So shout out to them. Teamwork make the dream work.
And put aside your ego.
Put aside your pride and your ego.
But I will share, if people have not listened to committee meetings, my city fam, please listen to them if you can, especially like this HUD's meeting, the Housing, Urban Development, and Zoning Committee meeting. That's my ish, because that's where I learn about all these development projects going on. So YouTube, City of St. Louis, subscribe and get into it, because like I said, that's how I know about things that are coming down the pipeline potentially. But I will say, some of them committee meetings, the public does have the opportunity to provide comment, whatever it is, and it can come across a bit, people providing their comments and it being dismissed, because people will ask questions. Sometimes, the committee members or other folks, maybe they'll indulge or they'll answer some of the questions, but most of the time they don't. And especially when we're talking about something so impactful, because that's a major development project. I mean, we're talking like, $18 million. I mean, that is a huge project in an area that has been that needs a little extra TLC. So yeah, you should take that time to listen to folks' concerns and address them. Even if you can't do it publicly during the meeting, having those conversations with them. Hey, I received what you said. Here are some answers or responses or something that can go a very long way. But some of them committee meetings, I'd be like, yo, like they are not listening to these people. And I get it. That's not the forum to have a discussion, I feel like. But
people still have to respectfully need to still listen. Even if you don't agree. And I guess this is the problem for me with people, some people that get in those spaces and feel like they don't need to listen. You serving someone in that space. You're there to serve. You're not there, but not a lot of them, let me not say that. Some of them have become more selfish in them spaces versus being there to serve. So why not listen to people? And then you don't know everything. So
literally,
you don't know everything.
No one does.
No one does. And even like me living in Ferguson, I'm only in one part of Ferguson. I don't know everything that goes on in another part of Ferguson. So if you're representing a ward, doesn't mean that you know everything about that ward. So you have to really be intentional about engaging with people in the space, because you get to hear what's going on or what's wanted and what's needed. So
right. And to really legislate, I feel like effectively, because we all come with our own lived experiences,
like you said,
our own like perceptions and perspectives. That's just one like little level. You know what I'm saying? There's so many levels to it. And you have to be open, and you have to consider those other levels, because this is impactful. Like, I don't know if you understand these bills, this legislation, this stuff that is passed, it impacts people's lives. Like, this ain't like for play.
Yes,
St. Louis County. This ain't like monopoly money. Like, this is like real money, real tax incentives.
Well, I heard just talking about cutting services, Lord. Yes, it's going to impact something.
This is real life. This ain't fake life. This is real life. So
we're in real life. We ain't on TV,
and we have to move as accordingly. So okay, so that's it.
But shout out to all of them in their respectful places. We also kudos, know, and understand and acknowledge that is not easy. Because if it was,
it's not.
I would probably be in that seat, but I'm not, because I know it's not, and I know that I have not the ability right now to engage like it should be. So, so think about that as well when people are running. Shout out to y'all city folks,
people that are putting their hats in.
When you're ready to sign up for this space, make sure you're intentional about knowing that what it takes to be in that space. Because it's not an easy space to be in. So, I hope they be more. Just be aware of that, y'all.
So, y'all, we are rounding it out. Anna, do you have any special announcements for the people?
Shout out to you, Kelly. This has been real fun, and it's actually getting me back in my groove of being on live and being in the space of talking and communicating. Because now, shout out to the Hood Talks podcast. Season 3 is coming back December 17th. That's a Saturday, or at 12 o'clock noon. This is our 2nd anniversary celebration show. So we're going to go back down memory lane a little bit and talk about what we achieved this last year. We going to talk with special guests from St. Louis Community College. Shout out to the special guests.
Yes.
And we got some major announcements happening and dropping on that space, along with some giveaways and raffles. I'm giving away a $50 gift card. But you got to tune in. You have to be tuned in to get an opportunity to win that gift card. And I'll be giving out some of the, our gear, our shirts. So tap in. That's my announcement. December 17th, 12 p.m. The Hood Talks podcast on Facebook. We also have a YouTube channel. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. That's where the show is going down. And we're going to be looking for guests for season 3. because we got some interesting conversations.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. And for real, y'all, subscribe so you can get the reminder.
Yeah.
And you said you raffling off a $50. Somebody can get $50.
$50 gift. You know me, I'm always in the giving.
I just want the people in the back.
Yes, we will be raffling a giveaway of a $50 gift card, but again, only for those who are viewing at that time. So if you're watching us live, you ain't getting that opportunity to get that gift card. You have to be watching us live. Yes.
During the actual time.
During the actual time, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, 17th, Saturday. Come tap in. And if you don't know about the Hood Talks podcast, you gonna learn something. Because we going back down memory lane. We celebrating. It's the celebrate. 2 years, Kelly.
Oh, shoot. Look at it. I mean, that's major. That's crazy. 2 years.
That is crazy.
Wow. Shout out to the Hood Talks podcast. Shout out to you, Vanna, for doing what you do, because the ish is not easy. Shout out to you for that. And I should be, I'm gonna definitely tap in and listen into it. Super excited. Shout out to our Flow Valley St. Louis Community College. They're dope.
Shout out to them.
So that's for sure. Super excited. I'm looking forward because your conversations, they're real and raw. Okay.
Shout out to the people that's been on the shows and the guests, because they have been some very. The thing I love about it is that it's very diverse though, and we bring all of the different points of views to the table, which you have to. We have to sit here and have these tough conversations. If we don't agree, if we do, if we don't, we have to have these conversations. So. Shout out to the people that's been willing to do that. And we got some stuff this season. So we need more people to be willing to come in and talk. Let's talk.
Yes. So subscribe. Yes. The Hood Talks. Woo woo. I just have one thing to announce.
WashU?
Straight facts, yes. We will have a special screening on WashU's campus. Yeah, Mama, I made it. Look at that. At Hillman Hall. Like their jazziest room. Okay. Hillman Hall Forum. You know what I'm saying? Shout out. I was gonna say something.
Like the Huxtables. Yeah.
So please come Wednesday, December 14th. So a week from this upcoming Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. I'm going to feed people. It'll be interesting. It'll be fun. Please come check it out. Engage, connect with other folks. I'm really trying to work with some of these younger folks too. Why it's on that campus. So please come out, enjoy the food. There is free parking. So make sure, again, on Eventbrite, you can go on there. You can register, and it also provides the information about the parking, which is free 99, and it's not too far from the building. Because I know WashU people like, I ain't dealing with that because I gotta worry about parking. No, it's free 99, and the parking garage is pretty close to. It's right next door to where we're at. But check out the information on Eventbrite. Get registered, and I'll have a special announcement to make that evening. And you never know too, there may be some special guests there, who knows who'll be in the building. So bring friends, because I can't take all that food home with me. And that's it.
And just come see Straight Facts, because Straight Facts is dope.
Yes, please come and watch it. It's very interesting.
It is
very interesting, informative,
very.
And also hopefully motivating to let people understand, like, local government is a thing. It's a process, but we can engage and be strategic about how we engage to bring about the changes we want to see in our communities. It can happen, y'all, but we got to come together to do it. So message. So that's all we have, I think, for tonight. A lot of information, but again, y'all, like, we can make a lot of things shake and a lot of things better, but we have to come together as a collective to do what we need to do. So sometimes it seems like it's a lot of foolery and it's hopeless, but there's always hope, y'all. We just have to come
Yes.
together to make things happen. So
What you
that's
see?
all. Yeah.
What
Please
you
be safe out there, because it's like a triple demic or whatever the hell they calling it now. Everybody's sick and coughing and stuff. So please just be safe. Be safe. Be safe, be careful, and we'll be back next Monday.
Share.
Yes, please share this.
Tell
If you
people to tap in.
have questions, comments, feel free to put them in. And I guess we'll see y'all next week. Peace out.